Back, beautiful people. This case is, wow, it's like a snowball. I mean, I'm happy that it's going this fast and we can find out, but I am just like, wow, every second, new development, and there is so much more to come. But we finally have my favorite thing in the world, paperwork. The state of Texas versus Theresa Ray Balboa, 8826 McAvoy Drive. I'm sorry, where her and her mother were. Okay, we'll scroll on down through all of this. Date prepared, June 2nd, 2021. The official seal is there. All right. Let me expand this, you guys. Work with me. I will read it all because I want to read it all anyway. Okay. In the name and by authority of the state of Texas. Before me, the undersigned Assistant District Attorney of Harris County, Texas, this day appeared the undersigned affiant, who under oath says that he has good reason to believe and does believe that in Harris County, Texas, Theresa Ray Balboa, hereafter styled the defendant, heretofore on or about May 31st, 2021, did then and there unlawfully, knowing that an offense has been committed, to wit, injury to child, conceal a thing, namely a human corpse, with intent to impair its availability as evidence in any subsequent investigation of an official proceeding related to the aforesaid offense. Okay, she hit the body. All right, probable cause. I am your affiant, Sergeant K. Prasad, a peace officer employed by the Houston Police Department, Homicide Division. And I solemnly swear that I have reason to believe that Theresa Ray Balboa, DLB 217-1992, hereinafter defendant Balboa, committed the felony offense of tampering with evidence in Webster, Harris County, and State of Texas on May 31st, 2021 at 15306 Gulf Freeway, number 1810. My belief is based upon the following facts. Affiant Sergeant K. Prasad is assigned to the Houston Police Department Homicide Division Murder Squad number 20 and is responsible for death investigations, including those of both adults and children. On May 30th, 2021, Affiant was assigned to investigate the disappearance of S.O., a 6-year-old white male, hereafter referred to as the complainant. The case is documented under HPD Case number 708-852-21. Affiant met with Detective B. Fort with the Houston Police Department Missing Persons Unit, who had initially been assigned the case on May 27, 2021. Affiant learned by speaking with Detective Fort and by reading the HPD-generated police report that on Thursday, May 27, 2021, at approximately 16:59 hours, that's 4:59, the complainant's biological father, Dalton Olson, contacted the Houston Police Department to report the complainant missing from 8826 McAvoy Drive in Houston, Harris County, Texas. Mr. Dalton Olson reported that his girlfriend, Theresa Ray Balboa, hereafter referred to and later identified as the defendant, had care, custody, and control over the complainant since Friday, April 30th, 2021. Wow. Mr. Dalton Olson stated that the defendant called him around 11:40 a.m. on Thursday, May 27, 2021, and reported to him that earlier in the day, around 7:30 a.m., the biological mother of the complainant, Sarah Lena Olson, arrived at 8826 McAvoy Drive, Houston, Harris County, Texas, and took the complainant from the property. Detective Ford and affiant spoke to the defendant on May 30th, 2021, who stated that Sarah Olson, along with an unidentified person presenting himself as a police officer, arrived at 8826 McAvoy Drive to take custody of the complainant. The defendant stated that at approximately 0730 hours, Sarah Olson, along with the unidentified male, took the complainant from the location without consent. Detective King advised the affiant on May 30th, 2021, that he spoke to a resident at 6911 Pine Grove Drive, an address near where Mr. Dalton Olson lives, Ms. Kelsey Wachkowski, who he deemed reliable and credible, and who is an employee at Holbrook Elementary, and confirmed that the complainant was at school on April 30th, 2021. In addition, Ms. Kelsey Wachkowski stated that April 30th, 2021 was the last day that the complainant was at school and that he had been absent for the remainder of the school year. According to Ms. Wachkowski, Mr. Dalton Olson is known to walk the complainant to school from 6910 Pine Grove Drive, where Mr. Dalton Olson resides. Affiant learned from Detective Fort and Detective King of the Missing Persons Unit that a statement was provided by Sarah Olson on May 29, 2021, at approximately 1700 hours. Affiant learned that Miss Sarah Olson denied ever picking up the complainant from 8826 McAvoy Drive on May 27, 2021, and she provided surveillance footage from her residence confirming that she was at her residence at the time the reported that the complainant was taken by her. I think that might be a little typo, but oh my gosh. Shall we continue? Affiant and partner, Detective A. Grimes, interviewed the defendant, that would be Theresa, on May 30th, 2021, at 8300 Mikawa Road at the HPD Missing Persons Unit, who provided a voluntary statement. The defendant identified that the person who had taken the complainant on May 27, 2021, was indeed Miss Sarah Olson, who she knows by name and sight and by identifying tattoos on her body. However, the defendant stated she could not explain or did not know how Sarah Olson could be on surveillance footage at her own residence at the same time the defendant reported the complainant being taken. Affiant learned from Dalton Olson that the defendant and the defendant's live-in roommate, Benjamin Rivera, were with the complainant at their place of residence located at 15603 Gulf Freeway, apartment 1810, Webster, Harris County, Texas, from April 30th, 2021 until the day defendant reported to Father Dalton Olson that complainant was missing on May 27, 2021. Affiant learned that Detective Fort and Detective King interviewed Mr. Benjamin Rivera on May 28, 2021, and learned that Benjamin Rivera had come home at approximately 0400 hours on the morning of May 27, 2021, and saw the complainant, Theresa Balboa, and Theresa Balboa's mother, June Cook Balboa, sleeping in a bedroom inside apartment number 1810. Defendant Balboa reported to have left 15603 Gulf Freeway and arrived at 8826 McAvoy Drive, where complainant S.O. was last reported to be seen by defendant Balboa. On May 31st, 2021, Benjamin Rivera gave a statement. Rivera stated that on or about May 10th, 2021, he was called by his roommate, the defendant. The defendant informed Rivera that the complainant was deceased. Rivera stated he left work and returned home to 15603 Gulf Freeway, Webster, Harris County, Texas. Rivera stated he observed the complainant unresponsive on a bed. He stated he also observed bruising on the CW's body. Rivera stated that he and the defendant placed the complainant's corpse in a bathtub, where he remained for 2 days. On May 13, 2021, Rivera stated he purchased duct tape and a plastic tote at a local Walmart. A receipt for this purchase was later found during this investigation. Rivera stated that he and the defendant wrapped the complainant's corpse in plastic sheet, placed the corpse in a plastic tote, and placed the tote in Rivera's motor vehicle. Rivera stated that he and the defendant then drove the corpse to a place the corpse to, I'm sorry, you guys. Rivera stated that he and the defendant wrapped the complainant's corpse in plastic sheet, placed the corpse in a plastic tote, and placed the tote in Rivera's motor vehicle. Rivera stated that he and the defendant then drove the corpse to and placed the corpse and plastic tote inside a storage unit located at 16650 Highway 3, Webster, Harris County, Texas. While we were searching and crying and while they were lying on the, oh God, I'm going to save my thoughts for now. On June 1st, 2021, at approximately 17:29 hours, 5:29 in the evening, the Jasper Police Department received a Crime Stopper tip related to a kidnapping case from Houston, Texas. The tip stated that the defendant, who was described as a white female, approximately 5 foot 3 inches tall and 180 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes, was in room number 106 at the Best Western Motel, located at 205 West Gibson in Jasper County, Texas. The tip also indicated that the defendant was possibly in possession of a missing child described as a 6-year-old white male who recently went missing from Houston, Texas. Sergeant Beckman, Corporal Clint Fowler, Officer Lewin, I'm going to assume, and Officer Gray of the Jasper Police Department were dispatched at approximately 17:34 hours, 5:34, to the Best Western Motel, located at 205 West Gibson, Jasper County, Texas. Sergeant Beckman knocked multiple times on the room door without response, and he was provided a spare key by the manager of the motel. The manager advised them that the person registered under room 106 was a male by the name of Dylan Walker, date of birth 5/30/1994. Sergeant Beckman, fearing for the safety of the child and due to exigent circumstances, due to the child being in possible danger of bodily harm, serious bodily harm, and or death, determined to make entry into the room to look for a complainant. At approximately 17:53 hours, Sergeant Beckman, along with Officer Gray, Corporal Fowler, and Officer Lewin, made entry into the room. Upon entering the room, Sergeant Beckman stated he detected an odor that, through his experience in law enforcement, he was able to recognize it to be possible decomposing human remains. A female was found in the bathroom while clearing the room, and Sergeant Beckman escorted her outside, where he asked her for her name, and she identified herself as Theresa. later verified by positively identifying her through Texas driver's license as the defendant. Sergeant Beckman stated that he proceeded to ask multiple times for the whereabouts of the complainant, and the defendant advised him that the complainant was inside the box. Sergeant Beckman observed a black tote with a yellow lid sitting on the floor. Sergeant Beckman stated that the lid had been secured with zip ties that were strapped to the tote. Sergeant Beckman stated he pried the lid open, used his flashlight to look inside the tote, and immediately smelled a very strong odor consistent with that of a decomposing body. Sergeant Beckman observed what appeared to be a child's body wrapped in a black plastic bag laying inside the tote. The child's body appeared to be wrapped with plastic bags and secured with duct tape. At approximately 18:37 hours, 6:37, Houston Police Department was notified of the discovery and was advised that the defendant was detained and transported to the Jasper Police Department. Affiant and Detective A. Grimes received a phone call from Commander Knoll at approximately 7:30, who notified us. Affiant and Detective A. Grimes then proceeded to drive to 205 West Gibson, Jasper County, Texas, and we arrived at the Best Western Motel at approximately 21:50 hours, 9:50 p.m. After reviewing surveillance footage from the Best Western Motel, we observed a maroon Dodge Ram truck arriving at the motel at approximately 03:30 hours, 3:30 a.m. The truck was later identified to be a 2015 Dodge Ram truck, license plate NBD 4650, VIN number 1 Charlie 6 Romeo Romeo 7 Lima Tango X-ray Foxtrot Sierra 672308, which was registered to Dylan Ray Walker. The surveillance video shows a male entered the motel lobby and proceeded to check in. The surveillance video then shows the male return to his truck and drive into the parking lot of the motel and park the truck near room 106. A tote with a yellow lid is observed sitting on the bed of the truck. The surveillance video then shows the male and female exit the vehicle and entered room 106. At approximately 05:59 hours. Sorry, you guys, this is hard to read and breathe and think. 5:59 a.m. The male is observed exiting room 106 and walking to the rear of the Dodge Ram truck. The video shows him get the black tote from the back of the truck and proceed to drag the tote into room 106. The male shortly exits the room and drives away in the Dodge Ram truck. Dylan Walker provided his Texas driver's license at the Best Western Motel upon check-in on June 1st, 2021 at approximately 3:30 in the morning. Dylan Walker's address was learned from his Texas driver's license, which was provided to Texas Ranger R. Clendenin, who responded to address listed on Dylan Walker's Texas driver's license at 230 McConnelly Circle, Cold Springs, Texas. Affiant learned that Ranger R. Clendenin obtained a voluntary interview with Dylan Walker, who provided information on the transport of the storage container. Affiant learned that Dylan Walker stated that he received a phone call from the defendant on May 31st, 2021, who stated she needed help because she was involved in an altercation. Affiant learned that Dylan Walker met with defendant in Cleveland, Texas, in a Walmart parking lot. Dylan Walker stated that on May 31st, 2021, he drove the defendant to Webster Harris County, Texas, to a storage unit and picked up a storage container which had a foul odor. Dylan Walker stated he then drove the defendant to Jasper, Texas, and checked her into the Best Western Motel. Dylan Walker stated he removed the storage container from the bed of his pickup at approximately 6 a.m. on June 1st, 2021, and left the Best Western Motel property and went home. Dylan Walker stated he then called into Crime Stoppers to report the defendant's location and the location of the container containing the complainant. Affiant believes, based on the above facts, that defendant Theresa Balboa committed the offense of tampering with evidence, human corpse. When the defendant was booked into Jasper County Jail, she identified herself by name and date of birth, 2/17/1992, to CPL Fowler. Officer Mike Peters ran the defendant's descriptors and found a Texas driver's license photo, TDL number 435-77328, which was used to positively identify the defendant. This is signed and sworn. And wow. I just don't have any more words. I think we all have to process this now.